Hi, and welcome to Alternative Assessment in Rubrics, Interior Design. Meet Sharon Dartman, who teaches interior design in San Francisco. When Sharon first started teaching, her primary mode of assessing students was informal observations and paper-pencil tests. It gave her some information, but it wasn't really enough. Frequently, she would only discover at the end of a unit what her students didn't quite understand, and by then they were already on to the next unit. It was really frustrating. In interior design, so much evidence of student learning really calls for alternative assessment. Project boards, models, and client pitch presentations provide so much more authentic information about what students actually know, so Sharon tries to use them whenever possible. Her students prefer doing projects, particularly when they are for real clients in real spaces with real problems to solve. But Sharon was still finding gaps in their understanding when she graded their work. And there was always that issue of, why did I get that grade? I did the same thing as so-and-so, Sharon says. I had no good way of communicating to them what I was looking for specifically. Then I learned about rubrics. Many teachers like using rubrics because they define various levels of performance in specific categories and allow students to choose their grade by doing that level of work. A good rubric is a communication lifesaver, says Sharon. But what they don't tell you is that they take forever to create. Oh, sure, there are loads of examples online if you happen to teach English, but for interior design, it's really hard to find one that fits my projects. The first time Sharon made a rubric, it took hours to figure out what should be included and what wording to use. And after she'd used the rubric with her students, she realized that she was still missing some key criteria. So she updated it and improved it. It was much better, but she still felt she wasn't getting all she could out of it. Then Sharon talked to another interior design teacher who was using rubrics in a whole new way. Fernando doesn't just write his own rubrics. In fact, he challenges his students to write them, wordsmithing the content to reflect what should be evaluated in that specific project, and defining levels of performance. Fernando found that he learned more about what his students thought they were supposed to do from that exercise than from their actual projects. Sharon tried Fernando's idea with her own students and was really pleased with the outcome. But she noticed that her students had created such an exhaustive rubric with so many things to evaluate that it would take her an hour to grade a single project, which just wasn't realistic. Sharon had learned from her mentor that not everything needs to be graded every time. Her mentor told her that students will learn more from immediate, or at least timely feedback, than from thorough but late feedback. Her mentor advised focusing on one or two key areas per project so that she could get her feedback to her students by the very next class. So Sharon narrowed her rubric to a single focus and included a checklist of items that were marked present or not present, so her students wouldn't omit items that were necessary for a client pitch, even though they weren't the focus of that particular project. Another strategy Sharon employs is having her students do a self-review and then a peer review using the same rubric before submitting the project to her for grading. Seeing their evaluations gives her much more information about their understanding, and the more they reflect, the more they learn. Thanks for watching.